So this is video 2 of the Lowland Kids Sweater Romper, and I've already done the garment construction. Now I'm going to do the neckband. So I first need to find the center front and center back. So I'm going to line up those shoulder seams, putting those together and finding the back center. I always mark my back center with blue so there's no confusion and I never accidentally put the tag on the front of the garment. I'm going to find the center, or find the shoulder seams, line those up, and I'm going to find the front center, and I'm going to mark it with any other color besides blue. I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to put together the neckband. Now, this is rib, so sometimes it can be difficult determining which is the wrong side and which is the right side. So with rib, you can give it a good pull or a good stretch, and you will see the elastic fibers on the wrong side. So this is the wrong side. So I'm going to put my right sides together and give that a good stitching. Now that I have these together, if I were to just fold it, I would have a really bulky point to go over while I'm stitching. So instead, I'm going to push the one side to the left and the other side to the right. And then I'm going to nest those seams up. So line those up nicely so you don't have a very bulky area, and everything lines up very nicely. Oops. So this is the back. Where the seam is will be the back, so I'm going to use blue. Now I'm going to find the center, and I'm going to mark it with, I used yellow on the piece, so I'm going to use yellow on the neckband. I don't want there to be any confusion. So now I'm going to open up my neck hole and then put my neckband inside. Lining up the blue, which is the back of the neckband, to the blue back of the garment. Now, since I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to toss in this tag. This is not a compliant tag. This is just a size marking tag for the customer because they put their own tags on once it gets to them. So this just helps them identify which size is which. If I was making a piece for my own shop, I would put my own tag in there. I just lined up the yellow marks and put those together while I was talking. Now I'm going to just kind of estimate where I think the middle of this might be, and then the middle of the band, middle of the garment. And I'm just going to kind of pull those apart until these two clips line up with each other. And that's where I'm going to call is center on both pieces. And I'm going to bring those areas together and give it a clip. Color is not as important now because we already have the back marked and the front marked. So we know that these other ones are sides and there's not a lot of confusion there. Again, kind of give it an estimate and then watch to make sure these seams or the clips are lined up. And mark that with another clip. Now, when I sew my neckband on, I like to have nice, smooth, clean stitches over my tag instead of having the start and the stop at the tag. So I put my start and stop at the left shoulder. So here I am going to sew from the inside of the neck hole, not the outside, and I'm going to start at the left shoulder. I'm going to stretch the ribbing or the band to match the garment without stretching the garment any. And I'm going to go ahead and stick that under my presser foot, remove that shoulder clip, and give it a couple stitches. Now my shoulder seams, I want them pointing towards the tag, towards the back of the garment. So when you're going over those shoulder seams, make sure that you're placing the seam facing the correct direction, or the correct being towards the back. I'm going to be very careful that my tag is laying flat so I don't accidentally fold it while I'm sewing over it. Again, I'm going to push the other one towards the tag or towards the back. Keep it evenly stretched without stretching the garment. Over that shoulder seam, coming down towards the center and the front, lining everything up, keeping even tension. And then once I get to the start-stop area, this is my start, and I'm gonna go past it about 1 inch to 2 inches, and then I'm gonna go off. It helps lock those stitches in place so nothing's gonna come unraveled, but just to be absolutely certain, I'm gonna come in here and I'm going to separate my needle threads from my looper threads. And I think I picked the wrong threads, darn it. Sometimes it can be a challenge to identify them. Most of the time it's pretty simple, but I got it wrong just this time, and I've been doing it forever, so it's okay. Isolate your needle threads from your looper threads and give it a good couple overhand knots just to make sure that it doesn't come undone. I've seen people thread their tails back through their stitches, and that's fine. I've seen people hit it with some stitch locking fabric fusion glue, which is something that I do on occasion, but I will always put in those 3 overhand knots so that way I know that this neckband is not going to come undone. And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how that neckband turned out. And I have a nice, beautiful, even, flush neckband.